Some messaging solutions where you can type.
Yes, I wonder. Yeah, absolutely. First thing. Yeah.
You can take him off.
They go.
Yeah.
Hello guys.
Oh.
I didn't sleep 2 days. Can you ask like easy questions, please? It's crazy.
Trouble sleeping?
Yeah,
Well, that's not good.
not good. Yeah, because I sleep like American time. Now I have to sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, ow! Okay, sure. Well, how would you describe your 2020, right? You just got to fight one time, but it was a good name, a big win. So how would you describe 2020?
2020 for me was good. I have won like yes, for sure. I want like fight 3 times a year or 4 times a year, but it's okay because of COVID time. I'm happy I have like 1 win 2020.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start 2021.
What do you think about this matchup? I mean, obviously another talented guy, but I was a little surprised, right? 2 young guys that look like really good prospects. Were you surprised this was the fight?
I hope like UFC gave me like strong fighter like top 15, but it's okay. I think we will be like show like very good fight because we that we both are like angry and hungry, like young guys. Like it will be good fight.
Yeah. Do you feel like this is kind of a big moment for you potentially? Like, because I see you guys on all the lists of like best young fighters, best future prospects. Do you feel like this is a big moment, even though it's not a top guy?
For sure, yes. How do I say, like... Скажи.
Что?
Что он сказал, like?
Что, как бы, будет для тебя шаг вперед.
Yeah.
Победа.
Of course, like if I win, for me it will be good. I grew up every fight, and if I win, UFC give me the I think top 15 fighters.
Yeah. What do you think about him as an opponent? His skill set. What do you see?
Yeah, he's a good striker, very good striker. He has like good boxing, but I'm better. Like I can do in striking and wrestling because I gonna do like mix.
Last thing for me, what type of fight are you expecting? I mean, do you feel like this is going to be a back and forth kind of battle, or do you feel like you can dominate him?
For sure, I'm gonna dominate. Yes, I want to finish this guy. I want to like or knockout or submission for sure.
Your last 3 opponents were they were grapplers like David Ramos, Islam, Olivier. Were you happy to get an opponent that is more of a striker?
Yes. Last 3 fighters was like wrestler more, but this guy like more striker. For me, will be easy, I think so, because with striker for me fights easy.
Why is it so much easier?
Because I'm a wrestler. I like wrestling a lot. It's my like first, like when I was young, I did a lot of wrestling, and that's why with striker for me is
Have you seen any of his defensive wrestling in his last few fights at all?
Yes, last fight he showed like good defense, very good defense, but I'm like different level, wrestler. I show, trust me.
Your English is getting better. Do you study a lot?
Yes, I'm practice every day. I want to speak English very good because I need it, and I can speak better because today, really, 2 days I didn't sleep. You know, it's crazy.
You also trained in the States. How much did it help you to improve your English and your fighting skills?
Of course, if I will be like speak English very good, like
To, что в Штатах тренировался,
Yeah.
тебе помогло.
It was like good experience for me, you know, a lot of like experience speaking English other people. For me, it was like good experience.
So can you name some of the top fighters that you trained with recently?
Yes, I trained with a lot of people from Gracie Barra, and I improved my jiu-jitsu, my grappling, and this fight, yes, I want like to do like submission. I prefer do submission this fight.
What's your favorite submission?
My favorite submission, choke back mount. Yeah.
Do you plan to spend more time in the States from now on and improve your English and your fighting skills with different gyms?
Ты имеешь в виду, что помогло, да?
Нет, что ты планируешь еще продолжать также ездить?
Yes, for sure. I want to go different place for my English, improve my striking, wrestling, everything.
I know you used to play hockey for a long time as well.
Yes.
What was it that made you transition into mixed martial arts?
Yes, when I was like 6 years old, I started do freestyle wrestling until 10, but my all classmates played hockey, and they said, "Why you like do wrestling? Go like move like hockey." I said, "Oh no problem." I tried and I can good, you know, and I moved hockey. I used to play 8 years, and then and then like как будто меня не взяли в никакую команду.
I didn't make it to professional level.
Yes, and I go like do jiu-jitsu, and I said I go fight for me, you know, for myself. Just I can't imagine I can like go UFC or like this, you know.
Do you still play?
Yes, I play, but not often, you know, like 2 times a year or 3 times a year. Yeah, but I have like form, everything, you know. Yeah.
What position?
My position is left. Нападающий как бы?
Forward.
Left forward, because I'm orthodox, you know.
Yeah.
So did you get into a lot of fights when playing ice hockey?
Yes. Fight in my blood, you know. I like fight. It's my when I was like young, I like fight everywhere, you know. I couldn't speak, you know, like just fight. I go, okay, let's go fight. So it's like Russian style, you know. Before like this, you know.
Is that why you didn't make professional? Because you were fighting all the time?
Почему ты пошел профессионал?
Почему ты в хоккее не стал профессионалом? Потому что постоянно драки были?
No, because of I started too late, you know. I had to start 6 years old. I started 10 years old, but I cannot, you know. Hockey is too hard sport. It's not easy for professional. MMA is not easy too, but MMA is my blood, you know. I had a lot of experience when I was young.
Do you remember the first time you didn't want to talk? You only want to fight somebody on the street?
Yeah. Where is water? One more, please, question.
Do you remember the first time you fought someone on the street? Like you didn't want to talk, you just said, let's fight.
Yeah, I don't like talk because when I speak, I want to fight, you know, my hand like this, you know, I won't fight, just fight. Let's go fight. I cannot speak. But now I am more like smart. I understand they cannot fight because now I'm professional. I can like kill, you know, if I punch strong. Yeah.
Did you get in trouble a lot when you're younger in school?
Yes. Yes.
What sort of?
This guy knows because he's from Russia.
I used to play ice hockey, right?
Yeah, it's good.
You play soccer match?
Soccer match?
Yes, football.
Football?
You guys football?
No, football. Just hockey and reg-ball. It's like Russian freestyle basketball, you know? You know? You know, Dagestan basketball. Yeah. It's called like it's called reg-ball. Reg-ball, yeah.
Like rugby and basketball.
Yeah, it's twice both, you know? Like
That's cool.
yeah.
That's what it's called in Russian.
Yeah, it's good.
That's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Additional, please.
Thank you, Thank you, bro.
Thank you. Stay on.
Yeah, really good. Yeah. This is a killer.
He's only one. Like he's just like to get on.
Bro, this is a killer.
He has. It's not in trouble. Even the beat me upstairs.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
He's a killer.
The very basic thing.
Wow.
The whole thing. It looks like it's
That was quick.
sorry. Yeah, but actually amazing. I thought you would come.
Oh, nice. I'm learning more. I can't understand everything. I've talked to him. No, he doesn't hurt well. I talked to him a little bit in English. And he was trying.
There you go.
Friendly faces.
And probably just a few days out, what's the feeling? I mean, you've been a part of some big fights in your career, but is this feeling like kind of like a special moment or a big fight to you?
Oh, this feels like the biggest fight of my career, and it's just the excitement around it is just been building. You know, ever since I was first approached about this fight, I was approached about it, and initially what attracted me to it was, you know, the main event, the McGregor Poirier fight, being the co-main event to that, being a pay-per-view, and the opportunity that something did happen. Touch wood, I don't wish anything upon either of those two, but something did happen. You had the opportunity to slide your way into the main event spot, which is what initially got me to the fight. But then once the opponent, Michael Chandler, I started looking his career, what he's accomplished, what he's achieved, his skill set I got just excited as the other fans to see what he's all about. You know, I definitely feel like the hype and excitement around him is warranted. So that, again, made it very easy to train for. It motivated me to get in there and train by the opponent. And then just this last week, Khabib saying, with an impressive performance, main event, co-main event, I could come out of retirement and potentially fight. So it's a kind of a last-minute injection of excitement. So it's just been continuing to build over the last 2 months. But it's just so much going on in the division, I think, is why I feel like this is the biggest fight of my career.
Are you disappointed at all that Khabib's not going to be there in person to, like, I don't know, be there from cage side and give you the thumbs up or the thumbs down like the Emperor?
Yeah. Oh, man, that's cool. I can understand. You know, he's got priorities to take care of and things to focus on. And they probably can't have him and Conor in the same room. That's probably the main reason they don't want anyone jumping in any cages.
Yeah. Michael Chandler, when you got matched up to him, you said you're impressed with him. Now, how much had you watched of him at all? Had you seen any of his fights? I mean, I'm sure you knew the name, but had you really watched him compete?
Yeah, when he was coming over here and he was weighing in, I was taking jabs at him, calling him, taking some jabs at him, calling him a fitness model and all that sort of jazz. I never watched a Michael Chandler fight. I definitely knew who he was and what he'd achieved inside of Bellator. I knew he was a champ, but never studied. I'd seen highlight reels of, you know, the Eddie Alvarez war, but not really studied him or watched any fights. And once I did, as I say, you know, I learned where that respect came from and that hype and that excitement around him is. It's definitely warranted. I believe like his third fight of his career was in Bellator, and he's been fighting in there ever since. So that's a high level. He's been fighting world-class lightweights for a lot longer than a lot of other people in this sport. Yeah.
You know, we're all looking from the outside looking in. We're looking for edges, that sort of thing. And his flight getting in late, right? I think he's just like getting out of quarantine. I mean, you pay attention to stuff like that? I mean, I know that can't be a part of your strategy, but you start going, well, this is a good thing for me. He's probably going to be jet lagged. He's probably going to be a little tired.
Oh, it's a bit irritating. I don't think it's any kind of advantage. I think sitting in a hotel room over there or sitting in a hotel room over here, it's kind of part and parcel with this environment that we're competing under.
Yeah. Last thing for me, you know, you had a fight of the year candidate with no fans. I wonder what the psychology is like. Is there anything different? Because I mean, you've been a part of some great fights throughout your career, but is there a different mentality you got to have coming into, you know, this moment, knowing it could be another one of those kind of fights, but you don't have that kind of crowd to give you that adrenaline rush?
Yeah, I definitely feel that it's not going to be like a hometown sold-out arena that I have experienced in the past. There's nothing like that when you get down to, you know, Australia or New Zealand, have a hometown support that's got your back. You can feel the crowd. You know what I mean? They're screaming. You look up. It's in an enclosed basketball arena. There's people in the ceiling pretty much. When you know, there's no feeling like that. You know, I've seen a lot of fans saying, I kind of prefer it watching without the fans because you can hear it, you can feel it. It's like, man, those people have never seen this live. It's unreal live, the sport. You know, a hometown fighter in there getting a win in their hometown, you know, exciting finish. There's nothing like that in the sport. So it's not going to be the same with the 2,000 fans, but I'm grateful that it's those 2,000 over the last time where I had no fans. So I'm just happy we're going to have some fans back.
Going off of that, do you think having that fight with Dustin with no fans gives you any sort of advantage at all? It's like you know what to expect in later rounds after you've been going to war and not having the adrenaline come from outside the cage, but you need to produce it yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of just you do draw the energy from the fans. You do draw that excitement when they start yelling things out. You do hear it within the fight and are motivated. I feel like it's a slight advantage, but he has already come out here and seen it with his own eyes. Like he was here last time for the Fight Island experience, weighing in, sitting cage side. I feel like he knows what to expect. I think his last fight against Ben Henderson was with no crowd in the Bellator cage. So he's been through and he's experienced that before. So I'm not expecting, and even when I look at an opponent, I never focus in on weaknesses. I never look, oh man, he might be this, he might be that. I'm looking for weaknesses. I'm looking for strengths because I know that you're going to repeat your strengths. Your weaknesses, I expect you to fix as I fix my own weaknesses. But your strengths, you're always going to fall back on what your strengths are, and your strengths can become your weakness.
You mentioned you feel like this is the biggest fight of your career. Just as we're coming towards the fight, have you felt personally more attention on you this time compared to any other fight, just from being on part of this big card?
It always builds. Every single fight, it gets more and more attention, and it constantly builds. There are a lot of eyes on this fight, and am getting asked a lot of questions, which is great. I love talking to you guys. But yeah, I think it's the main event. You know, there's something else here. There's something in the water with Conor McGregor on the card. You know, it's pretty crazy the amount of attention that he draws to something.
If Khabib does leave and there's a vacant title and you have that impressive performance, would you rather fight Conor or get a chance to rematch with Dustin?
I haven't put too much thought into that. Regardless, you know, Khabib, if he does stay or go, Dustin or Conor, my eyes are kind of focused. Well, my ultimate goal is to be the champion of the world. So I see, not looking past anyone, but I see through all the personas, all of that stuff, all the huge names, all the characters. I see the world title, and so it's whoever stands between me and that world title is who I want to compete against. And I want to, at the end of the day, I want to compete against the best. So whoever wins in that main event is who I want to compete against, because they've proven themselves as the best.
Who is winning in the main event? How's that one going?
Yeah, I've got my answer on lock. I just press play and it comes out. You want to hear it? All right, play. I might have saved it for you. I might have lied in those other 50 interviews, and now I'm gonna give it away for real. Now I feel like it's gonna be a close contest. I feel like it's gonna go the full 5. I feel like it's gonna be a close contest. It's honestly up in the air. I do not believe it's gonna go down like the first. I feel like at 55, Dustin is one of the bigger guys at 55. It's you know, he doesn't look the biggest or the most imposing, but he's a thick boy and he's heavy. You know, he's one of the most durable, one of the fittest guys in the division. And, you know, so they match up well. You know, as we all know, Conor has the lulls in energy throughout. Dustin does not. Dustin just constantly builds throughout the fight. So it's going to be difficult if he can't. I don't feel like he's going to get him out of there, but hurt him. If he doesn't hurt him badly early on and drain some of Dustin's gas tank away, I think it's going to be difficult for him in the later rounds. But I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be one heck of a fight.
Michael Chandler said what got him excited to face you is you were one of the few fighters that actually called him out. You and Paul Felder were his exact one. Why do you think so few fellow lightweights wanted to welcome him to the UFC?
It's a big risk. It's a huge risk, you know, taking on a fighter that's not ranked in the UFC. That's why everyone ahead of me turned the fight down, because they didn't want to risk their spot in the lightweight division. I'm confident in myself. I back myself against Michael Chandler. I'm as excited as the fans. I want to see him fight a top tier lightweight. I want to compete against him myself, because I feel like he's earned the spot. I feel like what he's done in the Bellator cage has put him in the contention. I'm not, you know, I'm not salty at all that he got put in as the backup for the title, but that shows that the UFC know what he's capable of. So I'm just glad he's getting out there and the fans get to see him compete against one of the best lightweights.
And after your back-to-back 5-round fights, you think this 3-round benefits you in a way? His last fight was pretty quick and had a lot of cage time.
That's a holiday. That's a holiday compared to those damn 5-5s. Nah, I'm excited. I know full well, you know, this with a full camp is going to be completely different. The preparation from this fight compared with the preparation for the last fight is pretty much it's apples and oranges. You can't really compare the two. I feel like I've had a very good camp, one of the best camps I've had, and as long as probably since the James Vick fight, this is the best camp that I've had. Just everything's come together. Pushed hard, sharp, fit, touch wood. I took no injuries, even though I was training very hard. So I'm confident that I can match his pace or outpace him over a 3-round fight.
And then, not related to the fight, but Ottman City FC pulled out of the FIBA World Cup club tournament because of the quarantine measures they have to go through getting back into New Zealand. So, hey, what are your thoughts on that? And what are the quarantine measures that are causing a whole team to pull out of the tournament because of it?
Yeah, they're pretty crazy. So we have to book in for our isolation now. So I didn't have to do it last time I competed in Vegas. They were just, if you're a New Zealand resident or citizen, you could just fly back into New Zealand and they would put you in an isolation facility. Now you have to book a ticket for your isolation facilities. So they get, I did book 2 months ago. I did book with a little bit of advance, but I still have to wait 4 weeks before I can get a spot in isolation. So well, my spot in isolation is booked the 21st of February. So that's when I can get back into New Zealand.
And it's 2 weeks after?
And then 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
So my trip all up is almost 2 months.
You gonna stay here the whole time, the month after?
Yeah, I have, purely because I haven't spent, the COVID situation is pretty under control in the UAE from what I'm looking at. And I've never spent that much time. I've passed through Abu Dhabi, but I've never spent a good amount of time. So it's a bit of a throwback. I get to explore a new place, see a new culture that I've never experienced. So I'm looking forward to that 4 weeks after the fight. I get around. I have a few friends in Dubai that are training at the moment. So there's some good training partners that I can mix it up with. So I'll travel, train. I've got a bit more money than when I used to do it. I used to do a broke with a backpack on my back. So it's going to be a bit more fun with some money, some cash in my pocket.
Dan, can I just ask you, what does your path to that lightweight title look like after Saturday, do you think?
Man, it depends. The call out or who I ask to fight next will completely depend on the result or the performance. The champion himself said that he would come out of retirement if there's an impressive enough performance in the main event, co-main event. I feel like with a strong performance, you're looking at fighting someone in the main event. You know what I mean? Even with a win, you're fighting someone that's ranked ahead of you. So I feel like with a win, I'm one fight away from the title. If not, in with the shot. I definitely feel like my game is built around finishes. I'm capable of a finish, especially a fast finish, and an impressive performance is something that I've done many times in my career. So I definitely feel like it's a possibility.
What do you have to do to make Khabib come back and give you that title shot?
I think it's shut down the wrestler. He's the wrestler, right? Khabib's the wrestler as well. So, if we're looking at who's in the title picture, that's another strong wrestler, strong offensive wrestler, not a defensive wrestler. The only two would be Chandler and Khabib. So I'm fighting the only other wrestler, strong offensive wrestler in the division. So if I can completely shut that down, defend the takedowns, and prove that I have the style to beat a wrestler, then I feel like the opportunity's there.
Dan, do you think that's a part of your game that's underestimated? You have the second highest rated takedown defense in the lightweight division of anyone on the roster right now. Do you think people kind of overlook your ability to stop takedowns in the defense wrestling?
I didn't know that, but that's a good stat to know. That's a good stat to know. Yeah, well, just thinking from memory, it's been a long time since I've been taken to. I've clean takedown. I remember Dustin reversed me once we were on the ground and got on top. I don't think that was necessarily a takedown out in the open. I had started that wrestling exchange myself. I think the last time was Jim Miller got a takedown on me and I popped back up and managed to get the finish. So I think even though I do hit the deck, it's very difficult person to hold down. I feel like my style was built around that because that's who I fought early on, was shorter guys that wanted to put me on my back. I'm a long, tall fighter. This is something I've been dealing with for 11 years. 12 years I've been dealing with this exact style. So I'm pretty confident that my game is built to, it's the kryptonite for the style.
Going back to earlier. Sorry, you mentioned earlier that you'd agreed to be on this card even before Chandler was your opponent, right? So what was the discussions like with UFC? What attracted, was it McGregor that attracted you to the card?
So they approached me with Michael Chandler on this card, but it was like the opportunity to slip into the main event is definitely what initially attracted me before I researched Michael Chandler. But being part of a huge McGregor card, being it's pretty crazy times with the COVID situation. Someone could fall out, and whether that's a bit of redemption against Dustin Poirier or whether that's fighting the most well-known fighter in the world. That's who I want to test myself against. So that's initially what drew me to it, was fighting either one of them.
I mean, you call him the most well-known fighter in the world. I saw DC and Ariel talking about maybe his skills are actually underestimated because of the fame that comes of him. But how do you look at Conor McGregor?
I definitely don't underestimate his skills. Like, strip that away. I see past all of that. You know, I see him as a competitor. But strip all of it away. Strip the persona away of Conor McGregor. Skill for skill, you know, with Khabib retired, I think he's the most technically sound fighter out there. I think incredible striker, and I feel like he's the best lightweight with the champion retired. Skill for skill.
And finally, I know you've mentioned it a little bit, but the extra incentive, because of course that's something that you probably wouldn't have known until Dana said about it on Saturday after the meeting with Khabib. What did that, how excited did that get you, or does it really change because you're still kind of on task to get the W, right? Yeah,
I am on task. Like, all of that, I see it, I just use it as motivation for the task at hand. So I can use, what's going to happen next as motivation for beating Michael Chandler or focusing on Michael Chandler. But that's something that I'm not doing is looking past Michael Chandler. He's one of the best lightweights in the world. So I'm excited to get out there and compete against him.
You could spoil Khabib and Conor too.
I don't want to spoil anything.
How did you get the nickname the Hangman? I'm assuming you didn't hang someone.
Actually, I'm facing a murder charge. Nah, like, I used to catch a lot of submissions early on, but it used to be, it's part of that. It's partly that, and it's part, I take this like real professionally. This is something I do. I go out there and fight cold like a professional executioner. That's so it's a mixture of the two. It's the submissions, but it's how I approach the sport. You get that name, you signed to fight me. I'm gonna approach it like a execution. I'm gonna go out there regardless of who you are, regardless of whether I hate you, whether I like you, whether I think you're a great guy, whether I think you're terrible. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try and get you out of there, and I'm gonna try and finish you.
And you said that you don't focus on Michael Chandler's weaknesses, just his strengths. What do you think are his strengths other than the offensive wrestling that you mentioned before?
The pace that he starts at is guys tend to lose that when they get as experienced as he is. He's had 30 professional MMA fights. Guys tend to be like, all right, I've been knocked out a few times. I might settle down and mature and take a backward step and try to pick someone apart. But he's still just as fearless as a 5-0 fighter, that's on the come up. So I feel like it's that fast start he has, it's that fearlessness to come out there and exchange and try and hit you that makes him very dangerous.
And you said that you hadn't watched much of his career until you signed on the dotted line to fight him. Is there a standout performance of his that stands out, obviously? But
I feel like he's got a lot of knockouts. Like he's developed. Early on in his career, it was a lot of takedowns and it was a lot of submissions and it was a lot of grinding guys out and beating them up, throwing them around and slamming them. Then it developed into a lot of knockouts on the feet. So he's definitely grown in the Bellator cage. But I would say his last performance, Ben Henderson, it was an incredible fight. The first one, I think, he dominated it early on. Benson managed to kind of come back and edge his way back into the fight as the rounds progressed. But his last fight against him, he looked like the best he's ever looked in that fight and the most well-developed he's ever looked. So I'm excited to go out there and not, compete against a waning Michael Chandler. I feel like he's the best he's ever been right now. So it's the perfect time for him to come over to the UFC and test his skills.
Cool. Perfect.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Is your airdrop on now? Picks you up.
Probably.
You got a MacBook Air, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I need to answer the question. Oh, but they're dying too quick. You know?
You're not. You won't plug your gym. For what? It is fun.
I'm gonna take it. I saw it happening.
Did your thing die?
It does this thing that it goes half.
And it's like immediate.
But it doesn't die like that. It just turns itself off. It
Yeah.
reboots itself. It's like, well, just turn off your
You're sending it to me.
Must be. Alex, you just said you declined it, but yeah.
Oh, you file.
Pull it off. No, son. Shit, don't copy it back on.
Should we get the airdrop with me?
Right. Hey guys. You guys have got the coldest room in there.
Freezing. So obviously, your last fight, you kind of rolled the dice a little bit, right? Took a chance, and I guess it didn't pay off. Any regrets, or do you feel like in retrospect that was still the right decision?
Yeah, definitely regret it. Because I injured my arm, so I had to deal with that, and then there was some stuff afterwards that didn't go to plan. So, but I regret it a little bit, but I try and see it as a positive. Like, everything happens for a reason. So here I am now, a couple of months later, and fighting. So I'm looking forward to that.
So there was a little bit of lasting damage on the arm. Was it just rehab, or what did you have to do?
Rehab and a couple of shots of stem cells. Yeah. But they wanted to do surgery, but if they said if I was a pitcher, which I'm not. So yeah, it's good. It's good now.
Very good. Any lessons you took out of that from the fight itself? I mean, I guess do some more jiu-jitsu. I guess I don't know. Like, what lessons did you take out of it?
I don't think it was the jiu-jitsu. Honestly, I just wasn't feeling good the whole day, and mentally I was like outside of my body. I've been in that position a lot, and I just feel like I wasn't there, if you know what I mean. I was like outside, and it wasn't the jiu-jitsu. Yeah. It wasn't my jiu-jitsu. It was just a bad day at the office.
It's interesting, right? I mean, is that like the worst feeling as a fighter? Like, knowing you put in all this training camp. I mean, you're trying to get everything ready for one night, right? And then that one night, you're just not there. Is that the weirdest or worst feeling ever?
Yeah, because we're training every day, and you can turn up during the week and have like 1 or 2 bad days, but if you turn up on that bad day and it's the one time or the second time you're fighting of the year, and you make a mistake, then you're going home with half your paycheck and with a loss. So it definitely is hard. One of the hardest part of the sport. Nice.
Well, you're back at it now. What do you think about the matchup? I mean, you guys have had a little history together, I guess. So did it excite you to get this matchup? Does it add anything to it, or is it just another opponent?
Yeah, it definitely adds to it, because I see her every day at the PI. She walks around like the school bully, and she rubs me and she rubs everyone else up the wrong way, and I feel like I'm the lucky one that gets to punch her and get paid for it.
So is this a kind of a personal fight? I mean, is this a grudge match?
I mean, we don't like each other, so yeah. I wouldn't say we're like putting a lot of trash out there. Last week before I left here, she was trying to talk to me in the changing room, so I don't know if it's that much of a grudge. I think it's more for show, and but for me, I'm just here to turn up and do my job, and I would just tell you guys honestly my opinion. Yeah.
Last thing for me, what's the goal here? I mean, obviously it's always to win, but I mean, do you feel like you need to go make a statement and show like, hey, I'm still that title contender that deserves to be talked about, or is it just let's just get a win and keep moving forward?
Yeah, there's that pressure already there, so I don't want to put that added onto me. I just want to go out there, perform, have fun, and I feel like she's a great opponent for me to do that.
Can you tell us, where did it all start?
I was actually, because I knew I had you guys, I was looking back on the tweets, and she took a fight 2 weeks short notice, and I was on the bench like waiting for Valentina, but I was ready and I would have made weight, and I heard that on that morning she was 4 pounds over, and then she celebrated that she was 0.2 over, and I was like, I just put it out to the Twitter world, were you really 0.2 over? And then I was just like, hashtag make flyweight great again, and hashtag ban the curtain trick. And she just attacked me back and was saying I was fake, and I was just trying to be this sweet innocent girl, but I'm not. And yeah, it was a whole lot of back and forth, and I was like, you should be in your bed planning for your fight tomorrow, but she wasn't. She was, and that's the kind of person she is, she likes drama.
Their flight from Vegas to here got delayed by a day, and I think that probably wouldn't help your weight cut if you were stuck in a hotel room. Do you think she's going to miss weight?
She's looking slimmer than what she was, because obviously she's at the PI, so I can kind of, I'm not watching her like a hawk, but she's in my division, so I definitely think she's a lot smaller than what she was a couple of weeks before when she was missing weight. So I think she's going to make it. But yeah, that flight, I'm glad I was not on that flight to look at her and to get in here early. And that was, for me, a professional. That was I wanted to be out here to make sure my weight was good and my sleep schedule was on, and I made sure I was out here early for that matter.
Obviously the flight being delayed is not her fault, but would you still be pretty pissed off if she misses weight, considering she's missed weight before and then celebrated being 0.2 over?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like she should go up to bantamweight. When I first missed weight at strawweight, I'd done the right thing. I made that choice of I'm not going to hang around here and waste people's time and waste my own money. I'm going to go up and do the right thing.
What's it been like peaking with Roxy in fight camp?
It's been awesome. Just me and her have a great training relationship. She would do something on me and I'll go and ask John, fuck, she got me with this. What can I do? And she does the exact same thing. And we've got no ego towards each other. We go in there and her goals are the same as mine. She's basically been the training partner that I've been searching for. I want someone my own size, someone like me that wants to get better. And she is definitely like that. And she trains, she's a workhorse like me. So we really hit it off. And it's been good that our fights lined up together.
Are you going to try to be on the same schedule more often moving forward?
Yeah. I mean, we're training together anyway, but it's just good to have the fights close together. But if she's got a fight and then I'm not fighting, I'm still there helping her, and the same with her. That's why I like that team relationship so much.
You watch the Scotland-Serbia game?
Yeah, well, I was in my bed sleeping, but I saw the highlights.
You must be chuffed then, right?
I like that use of word. Yes, I was chuffed. Yeah.
I know you've always been supportive of Conor. Do you think he wins? How do you see the main event playing out?
I just feel like Conor and his mindset can do anything. He can beat the world. And I like that about him. And yeah, so he's in that mindset right now. I love Dustin. Would love to see him win. But yeah, I'm with Conor in this one.
So I mean, you have his back if he runs into Khabib in the lobby.
Yeah, actually, I'd never thought about that until you mentioned that. He's here, right? Yeah. Geez, I think I would be the last person. I would probably be, there's so much security and other people that would probably get in there first. I'm sure you would be jumping in, ripping your shirt off and getting in there.
I've got bad knee,
So obviously you have a common opponent in Cynthia Calvillo. What did you make of her performance in the loss to Cynthia?
Yeah, I actually just watched that this morning and got a lot of confidence from that. And yeah, I think Cynthia done a great job. She had a great game plan, and I'm surprised Jessica lasted 5 rounds, especially after that weight cut I'm sure she had. But yeah, I know Jessica's tough and she's going to bring it. But yeah, I was impressed with Cynthia's win against Jessica.
Is that still one that you want to get back? Because I remember in the Hydro, everybody there thought that you'd won that night, but obviously the result didn't go your way.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen her since, and we're cool because we had a little bit of a beef when I was telling her she should move up to flyweight. She also did not like that, me being honest. But I'm sure my manager, Danny, would not like that fight to happen because he also manages her. But I would like to get that back. And if our paths did cross, then we're not training together. We're civil, but I'm sure she would be down to do the business as well.
I asked how your training's been going over the past sort of year or so. You've had to adjust because of COVID and all that stuff. Like, how much time have you spent? Obviously, I think Scotland's in lockdown now, as it is England. How much time have you spent there, or America, or how's it been for you?
So I kind of hit it good. My fiance is my coach, so it's a bonus. You know, we fight every night anyway to who makes the dinner, who does the tidying up. And it's always me. I'll let you guys know. But yeah, so it's not really changed. I've always had access to the gym. Also, I've not had access to the team at some points, but right now Vegas is pretty much, I think I'm in a good spot. We're not open, but we're getting to train, and it's good that having a fight, because you need that, especially in this sport. You can't just hit pads, you know.
I mean, in general, do you think it's important to kind of expand your training out of the UK? You know, what do you make of how things have developed there? Because, you know, someone like Leon Edwards is kind of really against leaving the UK to go and train. But for you, do you feel like that's really helped up your game?
Yeah, not at the start. But now I'm at Syndicate. I feel, yeah, we have Cindy chicks. We have like 12 girls that are in our team, and it's just, like I said earlier, I was searching for female training partners, and I feel like it's a big thing that I was missing. I was always training with guys, and yeah, I would stay in there, but it wasn't good for my confidence because I was always getting beaten up. Because I just couldn't win with a guy and someone bigger than me. So yeah, I feel like I'm in a good place now. I like it there. I didn't have that in Scotland, and I know a lot of some of the guys that are staying in the UK and they're making it work. And you can make it work, but for me, I just had to get out of the cold, find the heat, and find female training partners.
You talk about making it work, and there are kind of like certain hotbeds in the UK, right? Like the Midlands, just in Liverpool, and places like that. How difficult originally was it for you, kind of trying to make an imprint in the industry?
Yeah, and my gym back home is awesome. Like I think about them every day, and I really did want to make it work, but and I still, when I can get back there, there's no hard feelings there, and I wish I could have made it work, but I feel like I'm in a great place. I've met my fiance, and I've met the best team that I could be around, that I want to be around, and if I didn't move from Scotland, I wouldn't be in this place, so I don't see it. I'm glad that I did leave Scotland.
And finally, you talked earlier about, you know, the mental aspect on the day of the last fight you had, and, you know, the Valentina shot obviously getting delayed and all kinds of hurdles like that. Do you feel like all of that has made you mentally stronger moving forward? It's all part of the journey?
Yeah, it definitely was hard, but this sport brings lots of ups and downs, and I feel like that and everything else, that all the other shit that I've been through, then yeah, and it never gets easier, but it's just a constant battle that you're always working at every day.
Has John been making you jump much on this trip, or is that off limits in 5
weeks? It's definitely off limits, and he actually stopped after my last fight. He was like feeling a little bit bad for me, and but he always says, well, if you start it up, then don't come crying to me. So he can be good when he should be. Yeah. So yeah, he's not done it this. I should maybe get him. It's only when I get him he'll start getting me back. So I'm my own worst enemy for that.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
I put him on there, so it's too far. Did you get him? Yeah. Oh, it told me that it was still.
Yeah, I think that's video coming out.
Fucking so annoying.
I know. Of all people. Dude, that's a lot of
That's crazy.
I made a mistake on the approach there, bro.
How you doing?
What's up?
Doing good. Good old media day. Media day.
All right.
Good for mask on?
Yeah, you're fine. Well, you're good. How would you kind of quantify the last year? Describe it. I mean, it had to be a frustrating one for you.
Yeah, 2020 was rough with all the fight cancellations, but 2020 was rough for everyone. So, in the end of the day, I was training the whole time. I was working on my craft the whole time. I was leveling up the whole time. And, there's nothing else I would rather be doing than training and, doing what I was doing. The only frustrating part was that I wasn't able to put it on display for the world. But, like I said, I kept training and everything happens for a reason. And we got on this card, this pay-per-view card against a undefeated opponent. So it all worked out.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to look at it, right? At least I can keep getting better and I can keep improving. But was it difficult? I mean, along the way, were there moments where you're like, Jesus.
Yeah, it was rough, especially when I broke my foot. But, I stayed doing PT and I'm 100% healthy now. And we got this huge opportunity and now I'm ready to make the most of it.
Nice. Let's say, yeah, main card of a pay-per-view, not only pay-per-view, but obviously it's going to be one of the biggest ones of the year, right? So does that, I'm sure you're just excited to get back against anybody on any card, but does that add to it a little bit?
I mean, it doesn't. I can't write it up better than this. I mean, in Fight Island, we're in Abu Dhabi right now on a Conor McGregor pay-per-view, on the pay-per-view portion against an undefeated opponent with all this hype. So I mean, is perfect.
I was going to ask you, he's got that flashy record. He's had some great performances, right? When you get matched up with somebody like that, is there initial intimidation at all? Like, man, what's this guy all about? Or do you right away see, no, I see the weaknesses, I see the problem?
Yeah, no, not at all. I was undefeated once too. I know how he feels, and I watched him. I saw him when he fought Worthy, and I know he's good. I respect his power, I respect his skills, but I watched his fights, and I know that this guy hasn't been tested. He hasn't been tested like I'm going to test him. And it's going to be fun.
Very nice. Last thing for me, he's got, he's had some exciting performances. So, are you expecting something that happens real quick, or are you trying to drag him out into deep waters? What kind of fight are we going to see?
I'm prepared for it all, but yeah, I'm gonna test him. I'm gonna drag him to deep water. I'm gonna drown him, see if he can swim. So, everyone he's fought, he's got a lot of first round finishes. I know he comes out hot, and I'm prepared for it. What's gonna happen when I don't go down like the rest of his guys? We're gonna find out.
Has it been beneficial at all being around so many high-level lightweights this week?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've been following Michael Chandler his whole career, so it's pretty cool seeing him around. And I just saw Dustin Poirier walk by. Haven't seen McGregor yet. I heard Khabib's walking around too. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I'm like a fan just as much as a fighter. And I see these 155ers walking around, and no doubt I'm sizing everyone up.
What do you think happens in the main event? Pretty big one. How do you see that one playing out?
It's going to be a great fight. It's definitely going to be different than the first time they fought. And I like both guys. I'm a fan of McGregor. He's great for the sport, just in everything. The first UFC event I ever went to was McGregor against Seaver in Boston back in the day. And I was like 1-0 as a pro back then. And I was watching that fight, just feeling the energy that McGregor brings with all the Irish fans. And I was like, I gotta fight. And now I'm fighting on a McGregor card. So it's pretty cool. And, Dustin Poirier, you can't not love that guy, and you got to root for him. And I always do. So I'm mainly rooting for like a good fight. You know, I want to see a great fight, and you know, I'm excited to watch. I'm hoping that they let us into the arena so we can watch.
You were at that fight in person?
Yeah, I was at that fight in person back in the day. I was 1-0 as a pro too, and I was just getting going in my career, and I was like, you know, I got to get here. I'm gonna make it here. Now we're here.
Of the four, because obviously the champion of your division says the top four basically fighting to impress him. Of the four, who do you think was the most challenges to beat?
You know, yeah, he definitely does. I mean, you want to see like a guy with such high level jiu-jitsu against like Khabib, who's just mauling people. But you know, I'd like to see Chandler too. You know, he's like hasn't fought Khabib yet, and mainly, you know, I've already seen McGregor, I've already seen Poirier. You know, I'd like to see another guy fight him, but we'll see.
Have you had a moment to like get out on the balcony and just reflect on how far you've come?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I had a lot of time to reflect during this quarantine. I'll tell you that much. But feels good. You know, we just got out today and walking around and trying to, you know, soaking in like the hotel at least. And but yeah, every day, like multiple times a day, I look at my boy Billy Q and I'm like, yo, we're in Abu Dhabi about to fight on a McGregor pay-per-view, and you know, we're at the highest level of the sport. And you know, me and him came up as amateurs together, talking about this like, you know, 9-10 years ago, and now we're here. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, thanks.
I got one over here real quick. Who would you say the biggest influence in your you know, a main training partner that, you know, really got you to this point?
Yeah, you know, I've had a few, but you know, there was one guy. There's one guy that I've been beating up my entire career. You know, I pretty much call him my punching bag. You know, that Billy Q kid. You know. All right.
That's awesome.
You didn't even say his name.
That Billy Q kid, you know.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Billy. Working on your media stuff. I like it.
True story. Like the first media day, like everybody can't wait to do that. Talk to people. It's true.
Dude, the internet wasn't properly plugged in. How decent is the hard line?
That's funny. It's still not great.
24 minutes.
Oscar.
Yeah.
You get the audio.
No, good, thank you. She actually wasn't. The plane flying overhead was actually fucking.
Yeah. Word, bro. You gotta carry your own chair and everything. Yeah. Back on Fight Island again. I'm curious if it's exciting at all, or now it's just, business trip.
De volta na Ilha da Luta, ainda é empolgante estar aqui de novo, agora é só negócio.
Bom, mais empolgante é ter uma luta marcada e poder voltar a lutar o quanto antes.
What's really exciting is to have a fight booked and coming back to fight again.
Yeah. Last fight, obviously, a great fight, very close fight against a former champion. Didn't go your way, but I wonder kind of what you took out of that fight.
A última luta foi bem parelha contra ex-campeão, mas o que você aprendeu? O que você tirou daquela luta?
Bom, a principal lição que eu aprendi é não fique treinando 25 dias dentro de um quarto de hotel. Isso te deixa completamente diferente para lutar. Então, eu finalizei o meu camp com 25 dias dentro do quarto de hotel. Acho que perdi um pouco a minha mobilidade, minha noção de espaço, e acho que influenciou bastante no resultado da luta. Mas, mesmo assim, foi uma grande luta.
Yeah, the main thing I learned is to not train for 25 days straight inside a hotel room. I feel like it really messed with my mobility and my range and everything, but, despite everything, it was still a great fight.
Yeah, no question. I'm guessing that it just feels totally different now physically. I mean, because it seems like you've had kind of a normal trip. So is it physical? Is it mental? What's different now that you've had a normal preparation?
E agora que você teve uma preparação normal, fisicamente, psicologicamente, o que muda?
Na verdade, a gente só intensificou os treinos, né? Melhorando a parte que precisava melhorar realmente. Mas o foco é sempre o mesmo, né? Na estratégia, em fazer sempre uma grande luta. Então, como agora eu consegui finalizar o camp só uma semana dentro do hotel, que é normal, é o básico, então a gente está super confiante e muito motivado para o dia da luta.
We intensified training and we improved everything that we needed to. We had a full camp, and now we stayed in a hotel room for a week, which is normal now. So it's going to be a great fight.
As far as when you got the fight itself, Amanda's gotten a lot of attention lately. She's kind of become like a new star. Was that exciting for you, or what did you think about the matchup?
Como é que foi receber a ligação de que você vai encarar a Amanda, uma pessoa que tem muita coisa falada sobre ela e tal, é empolgante lutar com uma pessoa assim?
Olha, o que mais o que mais importa para mim mesmo é lutar, né? É ter uma luta, independente com quem for. Claro, a gente quer sempre lutar com quem tiver mais ranqueado, quem tiver mais à frente ali. E essa luta contra a Amanda, a gente pegou, substituir, né, a Michelle, mas a gente já estava esperando essa luta. Então, a gente conseguiu fazer um camp completo, esperando já essa luta, podia ser com ela ou com a Michelle, a gente ia estar pronto.
What's really important is to keep fighting. And obviously we all want to fight someone who's ranked and want to climb up that ranking. But Amanda's somebody that we had already been looking at. It's somebody that we'd already figured we would fight at some point. I came in to replace Michelle, but we were prepared to fight either one of those.
Nice. And last thing for me, stylistically, what kind of fight are you expecting to have here? I mean, do you think it's a fight that you can stay on the feet and take advantage there, or do you feel like you're going to have to deal with the grappling as well?
Em questão de estilo, é uma luta que você vai conseguir ficar em pé ou você vai ter que lidar com grappling dela?
Com certeza ela vai vir fazer o jogo de grappling dela, mesmo dizendo ao contrário. E isso a gente já está preparado, porque desde que eu entrei no UFC eu só luto com meninas do grappling, então eu venho evoluindo a cada luta e eu estou mostrando isso. E nesse sábado aí, nessa próxima luta, eu vou manter o jogo em pé, que é o meu forte, não tem como eu negar. Se a luta for pro chão, vou estar bem preparada, estou mais forte do que a luta anterior, vou conseguir reverter e quem sabe aí até uma finalização, porque eu tenho jiu-jitsu e posso mostrar aí.
she's definitely gonna come in with her grappling game, even though she's saying the opposite of that. But I've been working a lot on that. I faced a lot of grapplers, so definitely want to keep the fight on our feet, because that's where I shine. But if it goes to the ground, I'm definitely prepared for her.
How would you grade her striking?
Como é que você avaliou a trocação dela?
Acredito que ela não conseguiu mostrar muito a trocação, porque ela foi sempre pro plano principal dela, que é a luta agarrada. Se ela quiser realmente vir trocar nessa luta para mostrar a trocação dela, só o público que vai ganhar com isso, porque com certeza vai ser uma grande luta. E vamos ver no que vai dar. O resto é risco-luta.
I think she really hasn't been able to show it, because she always goes to her grappling in her fights. But if she wants to keep the fight standing, I think that the people that are going to win the most is going to be the fans, because it's going to be a great fight. So it's a risk for her.
Você passou 25 dias no quarto de hotel, treinando, e já foi um perrengue, mas para chegar aqui agora, foi outro perrengue. Como que você tá depois dessa quarentena, conseguiu descansar? Como que foram os treinos lá no quarto?
Me pergunto se você já sabe como é a Ilha da Luta e tudo mais. Na primeira vez a gente veio do executivo, vim com as pernas esticadas, vim sentindo, realmente uma pessoa super importante. Agora eu vim na econômica, bem apertada, foram 14 horas de voo, foi bem doída, mas nada que um dia ali descansando de quarentena, já consegui recuperar bastante e já consegui treinar muito bem, já no primeiro treino.
Regarding quarantine and everything, last time we were able to fly in that charter business class, my legs were, outstretched, and this time I came in economy and a little tight, but we had a couple days of quarantine to be able to get in some rest in the room.
A gente conversou também na outra Ilha da Luta, que a Amanda já tinha lutado, você lutou, se não me engano, no último final de semana, e ela tinha pedido a vencedora, entre você e o Esparza. E eu lembro que você tinha comentado que era uma luta que não te interessava tanto, né? Mudou alguma coisa depois que, nesses meses todos, talvez a categoria um pouco enganchada, e aí quando te falaram, Amanda, você não pensou duas vezes, não só por você ser uma lutadora profissional, mas também pelo fato de a categoria não tá andando tanto, é isso mesmo, vamos aí?
Na época me perguntaram se eu queria lutar com a Amanda e eu disse que não era o interesse no momento, porque a gente quer lutar sempre com alguém que esteja na frente do ranking, né? Não tem muito sentido querer lutar com alguém que está atrás. O que mudou foi a oportunidade. A gente já, ali em outubro, já decidiu, a gente vai lutar em dezembro ou janeiro. E essa era uma das lutas mais importantes que tinha na agenda. Então a gente decidiu, vamos aguardar e esperar. Ou a gente luta com a Michelle ou com a Amanda. E aconteceu que a Michelle saiu e foi a oportunidade certa aí pra gente pegar a luta.
The first time they both fought here in Fight Island, Amanda had said she'd like to face the winner between Marina and Carla Esparza. And she says, it's something that we were prepared for. It's not a fight that I wanted, but already in October, we figured we wanted to fight in December or January. We're ready to fight either Amanda or Michelle. So it's just a matter of opportunity. We wanted to come here and fight.
A Esparza pode ser a próxima desafiante do cinturão, né? Se a Rose não quiser lutar, ou não sei como que tá essa situação. Como que você vê essa luta entre a campeã e a Esparza?
Foi exatamente isso que eu falei para a Esparza quando acabou a luta. Muita gente perguntou se você pediu uma revanche. Não, eu disse para ela, aproveita que provavelmente você vai ser a próxima desafiante. E disse para ela, melhore seu strike que nós vamos encontrar lá na frente, falei para ela. Então, é uma oportunidade, ela tá vindo de grandes vitórias, então, caso a categoria tá complicada, quem não quiser lutar, vai passar à frente, então, isso pode acontecer a qualquer momento, com qualquer atleta ali do top 5, quem sabe até o top 10, dependendo do resultado das lutas.
Regarding Carla being next in line for a title shot, that's exactly what I told her after the fight, enjoy it. You're probably next in line, but, work on your striking because we're going to see each other again. And there's a lot going on in the division. And, if one person doesn't take the opportunity, it's going to go to someone else.
Se eu não me engano, a Esparza falou que vocês queriam treinar, ela queria treinar com você, ela não falou alguma coisa assim no final, acho que ela falou depois pra gente, que adoraria treinar com você.
Nunca ouvi.
Bom, minha última pergunta você vai lutar num card do McGregor, né, que é um card que muita gente quer lutar, com fãs, aqui na Ilha da Luta, como que você está se sentindo, né? Da outra vez que você lutou aqui não tinha fãs, né? E não era o card do McGregor, muda alguma coisa assim pra você? Até a visibilidade da luta.
Sim. Não, com certeza é um privilégio para qualquer atleta participar de um card numerado, ainda mais com toda essa visibilidade que é tendo uma luta principal com o Conor. Mas o show em si, toda essa questão do show, da fama, não me deslumbra. Então, o meu foco é sempre o treino, a estratégia e a luta. Depois de que eu lutar, independente do resultado, aí eu posso aproveitar, quem sabe o Conor peça uma foto para mim, essas coisas. Mas, enquanto isso, o foco é só na luta. E o show aí, eu sei que é legal, é bonito para os fãs e tudo mais, mas o meu foco é só em lutar.
Regarding fighting on a big pay-per-view with Connor and with fans again, you know, it's always good it's always an honor to fight in a numbered card, you know, and having McGregor on the card as well, headlining. But, you know, that's something to think about later. Right now I'm focused on the fight and all of that. It's definitely cool for all the fans, the show and everything. And, you know, maybe Connor asked me for a picture later, but right now the focus is on the fight.
I don't know.
How do you see the main event playing out?
Como é que você vê a luta principal?
O McGregor fala e faz, né? Então, ele já deu uma previsão. É legal se ele realmente concretizar, vai ser o máximo.
Yeah, McGregor says it and he does it. So, you know, he already predicted and it's going to be pretty cool if he can pull it off.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you. We can, but not there. Just like, look, that's the pipe.
Even the hard ones.
Hard ones. It's like 6 down. Terrible. Good.
After you.
It might just be as well here. It might be virtual meeting. Oh, virtual meeting too. Sorry about that.
That was my idea.
Chill virtual meeting. On Fight Island, ready to compete. What's the feeling like being here and getting ready for this fight?
It feels great. It feels like every other fight. You know, the focus on the opponent, on a fight. The other circumstances, I don't pay too much attention to it, and I'm laser focused.
Very nice. Talk to me about 2020. How would you describe it? Right. I mean, you started out with the early loss, then you were able to get one back. You satisfied with the way it played out, or what were your thoughts?
Actually, when I lost to Dubai, of course, I was not happy, you know, but I took it as a learning experience because I learned so much from it, you know. And then I came back with the win against Alex Munoz. I tried my best and I tried to fix the mistakes what I did against Doba. Don't be too emotional, don't rush things, and don't look for a fast finish. And I think I got right back on track. And it was a year with mixed feelings, but I think it made me grow a lot.
Very nice. Then you get this matchup. Were you surprised at all? I mean, I think you two guys are so young and respected prospects. Were you surprised that the UFC wanted to put you together?
Actually, the matchmakers, they know what to do. So I trust Sean Shelby and the organization. And my job is just to prepare. And everybody who's there on the other side, you know, I just need to beat him, and that's the business.
Nice. What do you think about him as an opponent? I mean, are you just expecting him to just try to wrestle the whole time?
Of course, he's a good guy. Everybody in the UFC is good. All of my opponents, they've been good. Started from Diakiz or Marcin Head to Joachim Sever to Doba. Even the last guy, he didn't have a UFC fight, but he was a Team FMA wrestling coach, so he had a lot of experience, you know. And I think I'm ready for everybody. Arman Tsarukyan is like you said, he's a young prospect. He's very good, talented, like everybody. He has 2 arms, 2 legs, you know. He has one heart. He's a human. So let's see who prepared better and who's mentally strong, and that's it.
Very nice. Last thing for me, what kind of fight are you expecting here? Because it looks like it could be a really exciting one, but are you expecting it to be kind of a back and forth battle, or you think you can go in and dominate?
My goal is just to bring my best performance, you know, be patient. I have 15 minutes of time to show my best side, and that's the goal. I know if I just put on my performance, my real skill set, I can beat him. I can beat everybody, you know, so I'm very confident in this. I just need to be calm, collected, focused, you know, and that's it.
I saw you take Jake Shields to Morocco. How was that?
Yeah, Jake Shields. We had a bunch of good guys with Aaron Pico, with Jake Shields, we had Ismail Nordiev, high-level guys, and we started the training camp in Las Vegas with Kamaru Usman and Justin Gaethje and so many other guys like Baba Jenkins. We had a high-level training camp, and Jake Shields is one of the best grapplers in the world, and he gave me a high price, and of course it feels good to learn from a legend, and it was a great training camp.
Did you give him a good tour of Morocco?
Yeah, of course, you got to see a lot of Morocco.
That blue city looks amazing.
Yeah, sick. It's amazing.
How's Morocco dealing with the pandemic?
Actually, my friends, the Azaitar brothers, they set up a training camp, and this is my second training camp in Morocco. They brought in like very high-level guys from Holland, the best kickboxers in the world, ONE FC champions, like top-level guys. Then, like for the other training camp, we had Marco Madsen, Olympic silver medalist, and this time we had Aaron Pico and Jake Shields. They set up a great facility, and we have everything what you need, and it's amazing with the best team there.
Sorry, guys. How are you expecting this main event to play out with Conor and Dustin Poirier? What do you expect in that fight?
Actually, you can go both sides. If just Dustin can take it after the second or third round, maybe he can win, or McGregor finish. The sport is unpredictable, 1 second, one mistake, one slip, everything can happen. So you never know.
What is the one piece of advice that you would give young Moroccan talents or Arab talents in general who would want to follow your footsteps and maybe find it impossible, with all the difficulties that we face in the Arab world? What is the one piece of advice you would give them?
Actually, I'm from Afghanistan, so Afghanistan is even like worse. There's nothing, just war, 40 years of war. I would give them just one advice, hope, and just keep going, because what they can do, every day, like bombs are exploding and people are dying in Afghanistan. It's a very bad situation, So, and that's my goal, to raise the flag and make them happy. And they're very proud of me, because they a little bit of enjoyment in their life. They see the UFC, it's a big sport. They say Khabib, McGregor, then they see an Afghan kid with the Afghan flag. It makes them happy, So my advice just to work hard, to trust in God, and keep faith.
You're talking about some of your training partners and the camp you've had in Morocco. You've trained in many places right around the world. I think like Sweden, Canada, and stuff. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, my journey started like 6-7 years ago with my big brother, and we traveled the world. 6 years ago, we went to All Stars training center, then went to King's MMA. We had visa problems. We went to Canada, and now we're with Firas Zahabi. Like he's our main coach, head coach, and I think he's the smartest guy in MMA. He's like a genius, and I trust him. And I made a lot of experience with the best guys in the world, so we kind of know, like when you get to spar with the welterweight champion or Gaethje or with so many different guys, you kind of feel, of course, fight is different, but you know what to expect from the best in the world, and to learn from them, and it's a big influence.
I believe the guy who spoke highly of you in the past is GSP. What was that relationship like, kind of being in the training, in the gym with him and just meeting him for the first time? How was all of that?
We're all fanboys of GSP, first time we went 5 years ago to TriStar, and I couldn't believe seeing GSP live, Now he's a good friend of me. He was actually also countering me against Joachim Serra fight, and now he has he's a little bit busy also with the pandemic. He cannot travel as much as he wants, and we're in daily touch. He always gives me advice, sent me video, this, that. And the last time we went in Canada was 1 year ago, before the pandemic, so we got to also work a lot. George always takes his time. He always wants to give me advice, and always reminds me, hey Nasrat, don't forget this. He's like a big brother for us. It's great to have him.
Yeah, he also said you weren't far off the title shot and we're a diamond. That's what he said.
Yes,
after your last fight.
that's what he said, and let's back it up.
Good. All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
You sure you don't want to just jump in?
See you later. No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Keep making me nervous every time I hear your cut.
I have this spot. My video was on 97% updated. I ran out of battery. So I had to reset the video. Thank you. Thank you, man.
Flash forward last trip. Was it? Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like, you couldn't even know pages of those stores.
Alongside that, the center there. But for some reason, they had three routers. Sort of the whole long guest bit.
I remember
it was home around me, yeah, and it's like the court and I was like, didn't work whatsoever. So I literally have to run back up to the meeting. Bearing in mind, I can't because obviously on UK media, I can't put in a personal hotspot, so can you should sell data as well. So it's
Get up.
Não, dá tem 16 minutos.
Hello.
Oh man, this has been kind of a fast ride for you in the UFC, right? But now you're on this massive pay-per-view, Conor McGregor, all those. I mean, does this feel like a big moment in your career?
Yes, for sure. I think UFC is giving me a huge opportunity to fight in this card. And I'm trying to not be just another fighter fighting in McGregor and Dustin card. I want to be, you remember Amanda? She fight that day in UFC 257. So I want that. So I will try to put all my heart, all my vibe, all my energy inside to the octagon.
Does it add any pressure to you at all, though? Because I feel like the expectations for you are so high. Like, you can't just go win a fight. You have to, do something amazing every time. Is that difficult at all?
No, it's not. I don't see like that. I see the guys are enjoying the time with me inside to the octagon. So for me, it's not pressure at all. Yeah. It's good.
What did you think about this matchup? Stylistically, the name, was it a fight that you were interested in?
Yes, it's tough fight for me because she is really good in Muay Thai. She throw elbows, kicks, and she's tough. She's number 8 in the world, so she's tough. So for me, it's amazing to fight against her because I can show my striking too.
So you say you want to show the striking, but it would seem the easy path would be to take her to the ground and submit her there. So, I mean, do you feel like you have to show that you can strike, or is it better to just go submit her?
I think we need to feel the fight. I think I want to show my strike, yes, but I need to listen to my coaches. I think this is really important, and some fighters, they don't do that, and I do a lot. I put my strategy in my mind, but my ears is all the time open for my coaches.
Right. Last thing for me, I mean, you've become a star very quickly.
It's so good to listen.
How soon can you go from star to champion?
I don't know. I think I need to become step by step, train hard. I don't want to forget to train because sometimes I saw some fighters just social media and forgot to train. No, I want to train hard because I know I need to be better, but I don't know, maybe until the end of this year, because I supposed to fight against Carla in the beginning, and she had the name to fight for the belt too. So I think until the end of this year, that's depend the result of this fight against Marina, and I need to do a really good fight.
How would you grade, you talked about Marina's striking, but how would you grade her grappling?
Her?
Yeah.
I think it's tough too because she fought against a lot of wrestlers and she knows how to defend takedowns.
So will be a tough fight for me for that too, because she knows how to defend takedowns.
And you'll also be fighting in front of fans again. I think like 2,000 fans will be in attendance. So you're looking forward to that?
Yes, I love that. I love the vibes, I think, because I'm in competition since I'm a child. And in small city, there is like team Amanda, team another city, and all the time is roaring, screaming. So for me, when they scream for me, it's amazing. When they scream for another fight, it's amazing too, because I like that, that vibe, that feeling. It's amazing.
Pode falar pouquinho da sua irmã, que é o quê? 10 anos mais nova que você?
É.
Tá aqui te ajudando no seu camp?
A minha irmãzinha tá ali atrás, olha o tamanho dela, que é maior que eu. Ela tá aqui. Da outra vez eu trouxe meu irmão, né? E o irmão mais velho, né? Fica sempre me incomodando. Agora, minha vez de eu incomodar ela, entendeu? Por isso que eu trouxe ela, tô brincando, não. Ela luta também. E eu adorei ter trago para ela poder aproveitar um pouquinho, eu poder passar um pouquinho da minha experiência que eu tô tendo aqui para ela ver que, independente, se ela quiser ser lutadora, se ela quiser ser modelo, se quiser ser dentista, que ela pode, só tem que acreditar. É só para sentir um gostinho.
Regarding her younger sister who's here, and my little sister's back there, and last time I brought my older brother and he was on my case and bugging me the whole time. So it's nice for me to be able to do that to her this time and, show her everything. If she wants to be a fighter, model, dentist, whatever, it's good for her to be here and see all this.
Também sei que ela é bastante competitiva, começou a treinar jiu-jitsu quando ela tinha 3 anos de idade.
Sim.
E também que você, passou por alguns apuros com ela quando você tinha uns 10 anos de idade e ela era muito novinha. Ela obviamente não se lembra, né, do que aconteceu, mas aí num jiu-jitsu ela fala assim, agora você vai pagar pelo que você me fez passar dentro daquele carro.
Sim, aconteceu isso, teve essa história do carro mesmo, que pessoa, sempre fui rodadura, né, aí no Natal bateu o carro, ela tava comigo e fui treinar com a cidadã e ela me finalizou. Sabe o que é legal? É isso, porque eu tentei usar força para sair, não deu certo não, mas é tão bom quando no meu caso é a minha irmãzinha, mas sei lá, algum estudante nosso, né, algum aluno consegue fazer uma técnica que mostra, consegue fazer uma coisa certa com a gente, é legal demais. Muito legal.
Talking about an experience they had, she also trains jiu-jitsu and they had something in the car, and we got in a car wreck on Christmas Day, and I'm not that great of a driver. And we went to the gym, and she took it out on me and submitted me, and I tried to be strong and I couldn't get out of it, but it's cool to see a student overcome that and be able to do that.
A gente, algumas conversas que eu tive com a Marina, né, a gente sempre comenta que você sempre colocou ela com bucha, com lutadoras difíceis. Você vai ser mais uma aí, alguma bucha aí no caminho dela?
Eu espero que sim, porque eu dei meu melhor no camp, e eu acho que todos os camps que vieram antes foram só para complementar esse, então eu espero sim que sei lá, que nós duas façamos o melhor show.
Marina said that the UFC always puts the toughest, badass girls in front of her. Are you going to be just one more? Yeah, I hope so. I had a great camp, and I hope to go in there, and I hope that she also has a great performance, and it's going to be a good fight.
You mentioned the opportunity the UFC have given you by putting you on this card, but I wondered what exactly you thought of the main event and how you're seeing that fight play out.
Como que eu vejo
a luta acabando? Você falou da oportunidade de estar nesse card, mas como é que você vê a luta rolando, a luta principal?
It's a good question. I saw that Dustin training at the gym. He was there all the time. So for me, he's prepared for this fight. And I think he would try to throw McGregor, and I don't know, he would try it, or maybe just put him on the cage and start to try punches to make points. I think it will be like that. I don't know.
Eu lembro que depois da sua última luta, a sua conta no Instagram já tinha crescido muito, assim, logo, né, na semana da luta. De julho pra cá, como é que ficou? Como é que você tá nas redes sociais?
Não, cresceu mais ainda. Tá bombando. Eu acho que quando começou a falar das lutas, que eu ia lutar na ilha de novo, que ia ser no card do UFC, do McGregor com o Dustin, já começou a aumentar mais ainda, e toda hora que, querendo ou não, mudando de adversário, meu nome ia ir na mídia de novo, né? Então aumentou mais ainda.
And about social media blowing up last time she fought, you know, how's it been since then? And it's continued to grow, and, you know, being on this card with McGregor and Poirier, and every time there's a change of opponents, you know, my name's out there in the media, so get more and more attention.
E outra coisa, o seu inglês também melhorou muito. Não, já era muito bom, mas melhorou muito. Você tem feito. Na verdade, acho que eu vi no seu Instagram que você fazia aula particular, né? Já está muito bom. Você... Desculpa, né? Você já tem agora curiosidade, vontade de talvez aprender outra língua?
Eu acho que eu tenho que melhorar mais ainda, porque às vezes dou umas engasgadas no inglês, mas tem sim vontade de aprender espanhol, porque eu acho que o público latino aí, latino-americano, né? Tá crescendo muito no UFC, é grande já, então acho que se eu aprender a falar um pouquinho mais espanhol vai melhorar mais ainda.
About the improvement in her English, does she think about adding another language? And, you know, I need to improve my English a little bit. I still have a few hiccups, but it'd be cool to learn Spanish and connect with all those Latin fans.
Amanda, I know that your mother and father are some of your biggest heroes. Just how proud are they watching you become such a superstar?
My mom and my dad? My dad made a tattoo of me. Oh my goodness. My brother and sister was mad, and then he did from them too. You know? But my mom, she is amazing. Since I'm child, she made my como que fala trança?
Braids.
Yeah. But he made my braids before the camp, and then when I came to the UFC, was not her, but I all the time imagine her. I talked to her. She made letters for me and put in my bag. So this for me, my family is my support, and I'm blessed to have that, because if nothing's going on good, I have my family. So it's amazing.
Yeah, that's lovely. How bad was the car crash you had?
Look that, because my house was like, the car was here, and there is this hill. This hill, and I was trying to pass the gear. I was and the car started going down, and my brother and my friends were playing in the street. Thank God they are tired, and they sit like right here, and my garage is here, and come and boom and boom. Almost I kill my brother. Imagine that. Imagine. And my dad almost killed me. Was killed me. Oh, that's crazy.
I'm glad you're okay. I too had a car crash, same day.
Really?
Yeah, weird.
It's crazy.
But how old were you, Amanda?
I think it was 10, 11. I was young. Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Thank you. So, thanks.
Good.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure to be here.
Acho que a Ana tirou 57. Obrigada, irmão.
Caraca, eu queria que ela viu.
Is the internet kind of better for you guys?
No.
Okay. I'm still playing on what showed you.
I answered.
Thanks, okay. Na verdade, não vou nem falar muito. Deixa eu te dar, porque eu não vou gravar o time. Decidi gravar pra mim. Tá bom.
Good point.
10 anos de idade, no Natal, pai que morreu mais sério. No Natal, pai me dizendo que já tem 1 ano de idade. Você não vai ficar com isso, né? Sim.
Look at all these people. Oh, man. Look at all this entertainment, guys. Woo, people. Yeah, people. Can I take my mask off? Damn, you guys got to come over here. That's cool. Yeah.
I'm guessing you're excited to be out of quarantine. That's the vibe.
Yes. I'm so excited. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that it wasn't like some of the other ones that when they got into Vegas, since I live there. So, you know, I'm sure if you guys follow me on social media, I got my little cage and sauna in there. So it was like, this is a normal day at home. So I didn't think that it would like play into fight week like it has going into this. But it's kind of crazy because the times are different still anyways. Like it was like I had a whole day and like I have night shift work, like normal training time from like 6 to 9. I'm busy. Yeah. It'd be normal training if I was home.
Obviously, I think everybody got concerned that your flight got delayed, right? I mean, you missed the wait a couple times. I know you don't hide from it, but I mean, has that impacted you at all? Is that causing any complications to your weight cut?
Well, I was hoping you were going to say they're going to pull the card back to Vegas. I was like, put Connor and fucking everybody on the flight. Bring him to Vegas since our flights change. But man, I swear to you, like, I knew that this question was probably going to get asked to me so many times. But you know what's more disappointing, guys, is that nobody asked me if I was okay the first time I missed weight, but everybody wants to ask me about how I'm going to make weight this next time. You know what I mean? Like, do we really live in that ingenuine of a world that we could see someone who has 12 UFC fights as well as 20 plus pro fights and never missed weight. But instead we just put him down first before we say, hey man, are you sick? Is everything all right? Maybe you guys saw something in me that I didn't see, because I tell you what, I just watched that weigh-in and I can't even believe that nobody came up to me and was like, I didn't watch that weigh-in. I didn't even connect with it. And considering the things I was dealing with, the kind of brain fog I was going through, I can't even believe I even took the fight. I shouldn't even have taken the fight. I should have protected myself. And that, man, you guys, if you ever dealt with a health problem, man, you'll really know whenever you got to have your own back. And now that I know that, I'm just a different person. Everything about me is different, so coming into this weight cut, I'm 136 right now. We knew that we were going to have to prove a point, right? So I had to be extra on point with everything. I'm really, really excited about the way that things are going to go moving forward for me.
Does that force a big change in you, just your understanding of the whole process?
Of life. We're talking you guys, I've been fighting for what, 14 years now? I still got the whole rest of my life to live. Fighting is what I'm doing right now. And it is one of the biggest things I will ever do in this regard, but it's not the only thing I'm going to do. And the fact that fighting has taken me on so many levels. It's taken me to different countries. It's taken organs out of my body. You know what I mean? I've gotten weird fingers and stuff. I've got so many things now I can say to it that isn't that what life is about? Is about those experiences and them making you better, so that when you take on your next level of challenge, and that will be this fight, that I can take all of that experience and bring it forward and make myself better, right? And isn't that what I'm really, here to do, is to make myself better? And we're not talking about as a professional fighter, but as a person. As a person, I should be better every day than the person I was before. And I have that chance. I have a microphone to help other people. Remind yourself of how to do that for yourself.
Very nice. This fight itself, it's fun because it feels like you're kind of got this message of positivity, right?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a beef between you two, a little history between you two. Are you hoping to kind of avoid any of that? Are you trying to leave that behind, or does that kind of fun when you get in a fist fight?
Okay, so let's rewind this, right? And maybe because I'm just so much of a realist in life, what beef do I have? Jojo, did I cheat on? Did your boyfriend cheat on you and I saw something? Do I know something crazy? Do I know bad details about you? Do I know that, maybe you fart when you get out of the bathroom? You know what I mean? I don't know anything about you. All I know is that what you do when you fight. You fart? You're squeak one out over there. I don't know anything about Jojo. You know what I mean? So there's been conversation. There's Twitter. You guys, we've got to stop with this social media. Oh, I said something on Twitter, so that means it's real, or I got a real beef with you. I don't have beef with anybody unless you physically have touched Athena, Diego, or messed with my family or physically hurt me. You're a notch on my life. You're part of my belt, that if something I have to experience so that I can keep growing, something I can keep doing. So yeah, there's been maybe a couple interactions on Twitter. You know what I mean? I think one of them went back so many years ago when somebody asked me a question about her, and I was like, oh, she needs to work on her cardio. And then she's like, I'll tell you how to work on your cardio. And it's did you just pick me out of all the other people that said the same thing because it's easier because I have a blue check mark? Or is it that you want that? So if that's what's happened because of that, then, whatever. It was actually, I'd realized I'd heard somebody say that, because I don't follow some of the stuff anymore. I've detached myself in that way that, social media gets me when I want to be there. You know what I mean? You don't get free access to me. You know what I mean? Do people get free access to you in your normal life? In your normal life, when you're not doing what you're doing right now, what if somebody just came up to you and go, you interview me right now because I said so? You don't get free access in that way all the time. So I had heard about her saying something about wanting to violently ruin my face. Well, of course, that's a part of the job, dear. That's what you should be saying. You know what I mean? Why don't you come up with something more original in that regard? But I'd heard that. So we both obviously train at the PI and we see each other all the time. We've had personally good interactions up until we're both her locker and my locker are right next to each other. My locker's right here and her locker is right here. Just so happens. but I'd gotten in the shower and I came out, I'd noticed my stuff was kind of in the way. And I was like, oh man, my bad. Let me get my stuff out the way. And she didn't even have like, she didn't have the decency as like a human being to be like, oh, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like then I realized, I'm like, oh man, this girl really doesn't like me. Like me and Valentina have been around each other. Me and Caitlin have hugged it out in the bathrooms. Like I don't have beef with anybody. If you have beef with me, it's probably because you don't like yourself. You know what I mean? And I've said something about you that you didn't like about yourself. So that's as much as I know in that regard with it. So if JoJo, if that's what she needs to want to hate me a little bit more, then go for it, girl. Like I'm loving myself. I'm so engulfed in myself right now. She doesn't even like, I'll be fighting a version of myself on Saturday, right? Like I'm going to be fighting as somebody else who wants to be the best, somebody else who is a professional fighter in the top 10, someone who's very similar to myself in that regard. So like I go out there and be the best me. There's nobody I can't beat, especially with no health issues. My back is good. My elbow's good. I don't have a dead organ in my body. I don't know what to say. Like, I mean, I'm sure you guys have all heard this from before, like, oh, when she came from 35 to 25 and all this, but we have to remember every day we're a new person and we're always trying to be better than the person we were the day before. So that's all that I can do.
Nice. Last thing for me. Let me ask you what your goal is here. I mean, obviously you want to win the fight, but is this about like proving people wrong? Is it about establishing the rankings, or it kind of seems like you kind of want to have like a social message, like a platform to like help people? So I mean, what is this goal? What is the goal here?
Obviously, I want to help people. You guys, like right now, you're still living through a pandemic. People are dying all the time. You know what I mean? Like they're literally, people are passing away on a regular basis. And whatever your beliefs are in any possible way, the fact of the matter is people are still dying. And that's really unfortunate. And we need to take care of the people next to us. Take care of our neighbor. Ask them if they need help. Check on each other. Maybe a little less hate might make us a little bit better. And that doesn't mean that you have to go out of your way to do something, but maybe why don't you stop and rewind for a second? So no, it's not about social proving. It's just about maybe someone else seeing a little piece of me and in them, and they go, I need to be a little bit stronger for myself. You know, I have those little, you know, like things like that for myself. Billie Eilish was one of them. You know what I mean? I definitely liked her ability to stand out and just do what she wanted. And I think that by nature, I would like to inspire people. When it comes down to the actual fight itself, boy, do I want to show some of the things that I'm capable of doing, guys. I am capable of so much more. I mean, people say to me, like, even that, like, I've trained with me, like, you should be so much more. You have to get out of your own way. And I have to do that this time. Like I have to do that for me. So this fight's strictly for me. Like it goes just to Jessica. I could be like, this would be one of those times where I wish nobody was in the arena. So it was just like me and the other person in that way. And it was just like, look, it's just you and me, dude. Let's throw down. So I feel like I finally have that.
Are you not looking forward to fans being back in the arena?
I didn't say that. No. So well, there's, yeah, I mean, you know, it's almost like you know, like when I thought about not having the fans in the arena, right? Because I've fought on Fight Pass before, right? So I've been there with only a few people, right? So it was like, whatever. I'm sure, I'll guarantee you there was more people in the Apex when we fought than there were on some of those early Fight Pass cards, right? Which we need to make sure people start getting there and watching the whole card. But I noticed that the coaching stuff changed, right? It wasn't until Cynthia had mentioned that she could hear us the whole time that by going into this one, we developed a couple more codes and names for things so that, again, jab. You know what I mean? When there's no one in the arena, dude, like what? Okay. You know what I mean? So like, you know, I'm excited to have them back in there for them and for that regard and to be able to kind of have that excitement. I think that a lot of things, it did change some of the judging. You know what I mean? It goes back to, you know, like, I think Greg Jackson might have been one of the first ones that used to do it back in the early years. And one of my coaches actually did it, but like encouragement. Yes, you're doing great. Woo! You know what I mean? These things kind of encourage the judges, and you know, we still don't have a good judging system yet. That I feel that really works so well for us that it's like across the board, like all the judges have to go to the same school, or you know, like in the NFL and the NBA, like you can't be one of their refs unless you have their exact certification. So hopefully the UFC in the next decade will certify these judges and refs, and you have to have X amount of things to make sure it happens.
I think going back to what you said going through like a health scare really showed you need to have your own back. Did you have to cut a lot of people out of your life when you were going through this?
I think by nature, yeah, that it was happening that way naturally, because I when I moved to Vegas, I made some new friends and stuff like that. And I don't think people really knew me. So that like by nature, they're like, oh, well, maybe she's just being away. You know what I mean? There was no understanding of like who I really was. But even more so before that, like a part of leaving, you know, Cleveland was like looking out for my health. Like I knew something wasn't right. I don't have parents, you know what I mean? I don't know anybody else if you're like this, but like I'm here for me, man. Like my brothers are not rich. You know what I mean? Like I'm my retirement plan. I'm my you know, in case I got a bad day, I got to go home. Like I go to my house. I don't run to anybody's house. You know, I don't get to go lay on somebody else's couch and be that way. So it really made me be like, you know, like the whole team and MMA thing, you know what I mean? Like I'm on the I team, man. Like I realized like I got to be my best person, and that starts with me, the number one.
What are you expecting in the main event here? Big main event. Everybody's excited about
yeah.
Dustin Conner. How you see that one going down?
God, it's so crazy. It's fighting. I hate predicting anything. You know, I'm not the kind of person that wants to predict a whole lot of stuff, because we've seen it go so many different ways in that regard. But I think it'll be fun. I think it's a good fight to have back. You know what I mean? Like Khabib's going to be in the house, and, you know, it's Conor, and, you know, we're kind of in, you know, Khabib's neck of the woods. So it's fun. It's like it puts energy around everybody in such a good, positive way. So it's exciting to have one of the first big cards back to be on it. I mean, at first I was like, I'm my co-main event again. And I knew that like I wasn't, you know what I mean? I'm like, there's no way, like after all the BS that I've done, they're going to put me on the co-main event, right? Like, come on, let's be serious here. And I knew that I'm like, wait a minute, there's going to be somebody else. But then I was like, you know what? I deserve to be on a Conor card. Like I'm a good person. I fight hard. I bring it every single time. And, you know, I deserve to be one of these recognized people on it. So that part I'm excited about, right? There'll be tons of people tuning in. So people might not have ever known me, might know me now and see the best part of me, and instead of seeing some of the worst ends.
Sounds like you've been on a bit of a journey of discovery in the past couple of years, right? So I'm curious, if you could go to like a 2017 Jessica Wright, what advice would you tell yourself?
Don't give up. Like there's a means to the end. Like something's going on. You don't have to feel like you're alone. Like I was dealing with a lot of confusion. My father had passed away. You know, my team, there had been some arguments with my team. You know, like I love Strong Style. Like I mean, I haven't really talked much about it. I love them. It's unfortunate what happened, you know, with them, but I will always support them. I said earlier in the interview, Marcus, you will always be the biggest inspiration in my life. It's unfortunate things happen that way, but now it shows me how much I have to be a grown woman and learn all the things that you've learned in your life, right? Like, so your parents teach you these things, these life teaches you these experiences, and you don't really know how to apply them until one day you're forced. And it's like, you got to apply it. How are you going to apply all the things that you learned? So I feel like, you know, better late than never that I'm starting to get some of these things, you know, applied to my life in that regard. And obviously 2020 was a really hard year for a lot of people in those ways, including myself. And I'm really glad to be on the other end of it. So I would say, you know, don't stop believing, Jessica, because I did. I stopped believing in myself, and I stopped believing in the first thing that I ever got me into fighting, and saying I believed in myself, and it was about me and it was for others. You know, nobody believed women's MMA was going to exist. You know what I mean? Like, nobody said this would be here, and I'm here, and I will keep proving these kinds of things, and I'll keep working at them, and I'll keep going in that regard. So I'm proud of myself, man. I feel like I'm more proud of this than I have ever been in any fight. That like, I can't, like, I'm like, just like clenching with excitement to just get on the scale, and then just to get into that octagon on Sunday and just feel alive. You know what I mean? I'm alive and I'm healthy, and I'm doing, you know, what I want. There's been a lot of tragedy lately. So it's like, Just live off some of the positivity.
Cool.
We done?
Done.
Cool, yay. Thanks for listening to me talk.
It's quite the start to your UFC career. I mean, how would you describe,
Did we start right? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, okay.
You ready?
Say at least hello.
Hello, how are you, sir?
you?
Thank you for showing
I
up.
am fine. Alhamdulillah. You guys also fine? Thank you. I see you have some candies over there, right?
I like the sunglasses.
Yeah, thank you. My brother Abu bought them as a gift.
This has been quite the start to your career. I mean, how would you describe what it's been like for you in the UFC so far?
Alhamdulillah, it was very nice, and I hope it will be always nice. It is always a pleasure to fight, especially to fight in UFC. Yes, UFC is the biggest name in the world for the MMA sport, and I would say it is the dream of every athlete, every MMA fighter to get in the UFC. And yes, I think also UFC is one of the only organizations which I know which show their appreciations by giving the fighters opportunities to grow.
Yeah, you set the bar very high. As you said, everybody wants to be in the UFC, but to perform the way you have, I mean, has that been even like surprising to you, like that it's gone so well?
To be honest, also yes. I mean, I work always hard. I give always my best. I owe this myself, owe this to my family, to my nation, to Morocco, but especially also to the whole MMA fans who support the MMA sports. Without MMA fans, the sport wouldn't be like big like this. I mean, imagine no one watching MMA, so we wouldn't sit here and make interviews. So the biggest thank after God goes also to the people outside who support MMA, who buy the pay-per-view and buy the merchandise and everything what belongs to MMA. And therefore I think that we owe them to show them, to give them something back by giving our best in the preparation and giving our best in the 15 minutes or 25 minutes which we get in the octagon. And alhamdulillah, I always go with this mindset I want to give myself, my family, my nation, all the people out there something back, and put my whole efforts in the preparation. And I'm happy with anything comes, because I know I couldn't do it better. As long you couldn't have done it better, you are happy with any results. And like I said, also it's important to not be selfish, also to think about the MMA fans and to try to give them something back. But like I said, didn't expect this. Alhamdulillah, I have to say thanks to God. He is the only one who made it possible.
Very nice. What do you think about the matchup? When you got this one, is this a name that you were familiar with at all? Were you excited for the style? What did you think about the matchup?
To be honest, I take every opponent same serious. I never underestimate anyone. I don't overestimate. You can say overestimate? Oh, okay. Anyone. So I prepare for anyone the same way. I don't look too much my opponents. That's the work of my coaches. I trust them, and they have to prepare me on the best way to be able to fight anyone.
Nice. Last thing for me, what do we see here? I mean, are you even going to see a second round for the first time, or are you going out there? What are we going to see happen?
I never give predictions, but I can just say I gave already my best in the preparation. The whole time which I suffered. It was a hard preparation with a lot of ups and downs, but alhamdulillah, we never gave up. And inshallah, I wanna remember all this preparation also in the fight day and give there also my best, inshallah.
You spoke to Matt earlier, and he said he's been impressed with your power inside the octagon, but he's excited to test you.
I spoke with him?
No, we spoke.
Oh, okay.
He's excited to test you to show like if even when you punch him, he can keep going forward. Are you excited to face someone as durable as Matt?
Like I said, I don't underestimate him, but I don't. For me, it's the same opponent like the last one and the one before, and maybe the next one. If he's excited, I am also excited to. I love challenges. I love people who are open for challenges. So, I mean, everyone in the UFC is here because he deserves to be here. So it doesn't make any difference to any else one. You know, everyone who got in the UFC is already proved already before. You know, so for me, it's. I respect every opponent. I saw him also. We spoke with each other. Hello. That's all. But everything else we gonna do on Saturday in the cage.
Who are some of the fighters you've been training with in this camp?
Yeah, we had the preparation like always. I start every preparation in Morocco, and they ended in also in Morocco. Sometimes it comes also between the opportunity to go to Vegas, to UFC Performance Institute, to body check, and to meet also my manager Ali Abdelaziz. By the way, Assalamu alaikum, ya Mozza. Ali, he understand it inside. Sorry. What did you say?
Who have you been training with?
Yeah, with Ali. No. I've been. I started my camp in Morocco. We have a very good camp in Morocco. We have all the fighters coming from all around the world. We have many people living in Morocco who help us there. We have fighters coming from Holland, coaches from Holland, from everywhere. Can I take one picture and name them, or? I can't take a picture because, you know, they are too much, you know. I forget already, you know. So I don't forget. Wait 1 second. So, yes, and then we've been also in Vegas. In Vegas, we trained with Justin Gaethje, with Usman Camaro, with Henry Cejudo, with everyone in Randy Couture gym, and in Morocco, we trained with sorry, brother. Walker, don't let me laugh. My brother is sitting there, and he make with yes, Aaron Pico came to Morocco, and Roberto Hamisha and Ilyas Boulaid, very strong K1 fighters from Holland, and Typhoon Özkan also with their coach Said, and also the Haqparast brothers. Nasrat Haqparast was part. I mean, the camp was also because of him in Morocco, and yeah, Ismail Nordayev, he was already in UFC, and Jose No Chance and Yusuf Qaddour, many people, to be honest. Also Jake Shield came, and of course, last but not least, my coaches Roberto Barrero and Yusuf Yaqub, my brother Abu Azaitar and Omar Azaitar. You know, many people came and they went again, and the other came, and the same also in Vegas. Alhamdulillah, we belongs to one of the best management, I would say, and Ali Abdelaziz is someone who try always to connect the fighters a bit, even sometimes the time comes that they will fight each other, even though we still train with each other. Like also I can imagine that Khabib and Gaethje train in the future with each other. Maybe it didn't come because the timing was not there, but it will come soon. Anytime. That is the work of Ali, so he's not focusing on every fighter separately, but he tries also to connect all the fighters together. And that's how we're gonna grow.
Any questions? Cool. Perfect.
Assalamu alaikum. See you soon, guys. Can I go smash this sweet skin?
Oh, Jojo just. Yeah.
How many more is that team?
Should just be Chandler, I think. If you chose.
Did just Chandler?
I think so. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. Said it wasn't going to show up in the fight.
That's not true. He was great. If anything, he's like, I'm tough. I already gave you all the pieces.
I just feel weird. Flight in Toronto, and I was just saying to him, where the shit's I got into the place, yes. I'm not just like that, it's just give it everything. It's just that.
Do they expect like content?
Probably, yeah. I'll do LeBron and Mason, and then just the main event. I think, and if anything crazy happens or whatever, that someone breaks a leg. There's no wood. That's probably gonna happen. What's it? That's the type of stuff.
quotata.
That's your brownie, man?
Hey, you can have it if you want.
No.
Wait. I'll give you one after this fight.
Perfect.
Welcome back to Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, last time was such a weird situation, right? This time you got a lot more certainty about what's happening and everything. So give me an idea. I mean, how different does it feel this time around versus last time?
It feels a lot of the same because I, at this point, last time on Fight Island, I was still mentally preparing like I was fighting. We all knew there was a slim chance that I was actually going to step into the cage on October 24th. But you have to put your best foot forward. You have to prepare as if you're going to fight. It wasn't until noon on Saturday that I actually took the pressure off. And they finally said, okay, hey, you're going to show up to the arena. You're going to do some interviews, wear this, wear that, whatever. And I was like, okay, so I'm not fighting. So it feels similar right now. And I really am glad I took that trip in October because now I know a lot of the UFC staff. Now we've worked together. Now I'm having a working relationship with the people I'm going to be rubbing elbows with for the next 5 years, the rest of my career. So it was a good little dry run, great trip, and I'm excited to get out there on Saturday and compete.
I was going to ask, because it was like a dry run. I was like, dress rehearsal, right? So I think part of us thought, well, maybe that'll be, not the greatest situation, but beneficial to him when he does make his debut, right? Because he'll do you think it actually paid real dividends that maybe you don't have quite the nerves or maybe you feel a little bit more settled?
Yeah, I do actually, because I, to be honest, coming to my first fight week, I was a little bit more nervous coming into it. And it wasn't even just, it wasn't the fact that, oh, maybe I'll fight and I'm visualizing and I'm mentally preparing for the fight. It was like, okay, well, I'm getting these emails from which the UFC is on their stuff. This is a well-oiled machine. I'm getting emails nonstop on the 1,000 different things that need to happen for each of us fighters to get to Fight Island, to get to the fight, all the different protocols and stuff. And now I can put names or faces with the names. And that first trip, I already got all that stuff out of the way. So now it's like familiar face. Hey, how are you? Good to see you again. It was just a couple months ago I was here. So it's almost like getting rid of that monkey off your back, that it's a brand new promotion, brand new people, brand new colleagues, coworkers. And then now, this time now it's just focus on training, making the weight, and obviously doing my obligations, and then fighting Dan Hooker on Saturday night.
We know how committed you are and everything you do. The plane delay, does that throw you off physically, mentally? I mean, that's a huge change of schedule, right? It's not just flying, a couple hours. It's a big deal, right? So physically, mentally, has this been challenging to kind of adjust on the fly?
Oh, it probably is, but ignorance is bliss, man. I'm the kind of guy where I just you can't do anything about it. What you're going to complain? It's not going to get that plane there any faster, So we made an extra day out of it. Obviously being in quarantine stinks. You're stuck in the hotel in Vegas, but we got our workouts in. I'm surrounded by people that love me, people that I love being around. My coach Henry, friend and training partner Marquez, manager Randall Alleman is here now, so I'm rooming with him. And then we got here a day and a half late, and the wait was the scary thing, because a 16-hour flight, and you wake up early, and then all of a sudden maybe you don't go to the bathroom for it's a day and a half, and you're like, okay, I'm 200 pounds right now. I wasn't really 200 pounds, but I felt like it, So, and then once you kind of go through the cycle of getting, everything flushing itself out, I got back on a normal weight where I need to be, and my manager and I, Randall, were working out in the room, and I was punching him to the body, and Henry let us borrow his body protector. So we got our workouts in the room, and we're where we need to be, and now we're on schedule.
Very nice. This was a big fight for numerous reasons regardless, right? But when Khabib comes out and says, hey, man, impress me and we might do something, does that add anything? I mean, is that going to be in your head at all between now and then? Or maybe when you step in, of course you want to win, but I got to do something a little extra so I can get that Khabib fight.
No, and I'll tell you why. I mean, a lot of times when you're focusing on something, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that ends up not happening. You focus so much, I got to be spectacular. I got to get a knockout. I got to get a submission. Oh, wait, Khabib is a wrestler, so maybe he wants a wrestling challenge. Let me go out and wrestle Dan Hooker so he thinks I'm a good enough wrestler for him to challenge. I don't want to think about that. I want I want my performance to speak for itself. I want to go out there and beat Dan Hooker in whatever way possible. And truthfully, I know I can trust myself because I always go for spectacular. You know, it didn't matter. I mean, you followed my career for a long time. I had a lot to lose against a lot of guys where I was supposed to beat guys in the first round. There's a lot more pressure when you're going out and fighting a guy who you're supposed to finish in the first round, and doing anything less than finishing him in the first round is a letdown to a lot of people. Whereas now I just got to go and fight the number 6 guy on the entire planet in my UFC debut on the co-main event of a huge pay-per-view. There's not a lot of pressure in that because I've already cemented a great career. I've already enjoyed a great career, and I want the fight to be able to take care of itself. And spectacular is what I go for every single time.
I was gonna say, the last thing for me, what would be ideal for you? I mean, you obviously had the ability to finish fights, right? But we've also seen Dan in some incredible wars.
Yeah.
What would be better for you, to go out there and do something, you know, first round finish, knock this guy out and blow the world away, or for them to see you get tested and pushed and grinded and survive that?
Man, both sounds great. You know, obviously for you know, my face's sake and my body's sake, of course, I'd love to just knock him out in the first round like I have a lot of times in the past. But there's something to be said about, you know, stepping into that octagon, being in a war, and the fans, you know, there's been some criticism of me coming into the UFC, of course, that I'm not at that level. So we'll see. But I think I always want the finish. The finish, man, there's nothing better than finishing a guy in the first round, first exchange, first knockout. I mean, it would be ideal for me. That would be the best case scenario. But I also welcome a war. I also think I'm battle tested. I'm battle hardened. I think Dan Hooker is as well. I think this fight's got fight of the night written all over it. So we'll see. We'll see how the cards play out.
Dan admits that he's probably not the first name that you would have chosen for your UFC debut. So, hey, is that true? And how excited are you to actually face him?
That's hard because it's hard to answer that question without sounding disrespectful, as if I didn't want to fight him, you know. But I mean, essentially, when I signed with the organization, we wanted, and the UFC wanted, a top 5 guy right away. So Dan Hooker's name was always in the mix, but Tony Ferguson was the first name that came out, and I was tied to him right away because we were supposed to fight in October. He said no, and then after that, then we tried to get him on the January card, and you know, so there was kind of this Tony Ferguson road we were going down. That wasn't because we didn't want to fight Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker wasn't good enough. It would just seem like Tony Ferguson needed a date. He needed an opponent, whatnot. So, and then it was obviously the rumors about Justin Gaethje, and we were trying to get a Justin Gaethje fight done. Dan Hooker name was still in the mix. So I would never want that to come off as disrespectful, like he's not worthy of me fighting him. Dan Hooker is possibly one of the hungriest guy, probably the hungriest guy in this division. He has proven himself that he's kind of got a lot to prove. I think Connor's already had this success. Poirier's already had this success. Gaethje has had this success. I feel like Dan Hooker has that chip on his shoulder that he has something to prove. You know, I think he has a lot more to prove than I do, to be honest. I think to the fans and to the media, everybody wants to see where I stack up. So they want to see, they say I have something to prove. But to me, I don't fight like I have something to prove. I fight like this is the calling on my life. I want to go out there and do amazing things.
Does that make Dan probably the more dangerous opponent that you could have coming off of a war like that, a loss? He wants to erase that?
1000%. I think, you know, you got a guy in Dan Hooker who is he sets a high bar. He sets a great pace. He takes damage and is willing to give it out. But then he's also technical. He can slice you up surgically with his technique. He can also stand right in front of you, get into a war, push you up against the cage, and then be in a knockdown, drag out dogfight. That's a scary but also exciting scenario to be in, like an exciting and scary opponent. So, and also, like you said, coming off of a loss, this is the what have you done for me lately business, and you're only as good as your last fight. So he's coming off of an L. I'm coming off of a nice first round finish. So I'm riding high. I'm feeling like my hands are unstoppable. Like I can go out there and knock out anybody. So we'll see how it plays out. Either way, I'm ready for all scenarios to play themselves out on Saturday night.
And then you obviously come from a wrestling background. He's predominantly a striker. So as a wrestler, what do you make of his defensive wrestling?
You know, he's been taken down a few times, but you also see him, I think, defend the takedown a lot more than he gets taken down. Granted, I would like to think in the most humble way possible that my wrestling is a lot better than a lot of the guys that he has faced. I mean, there's a difference between an MMA fighter who's got decent wrestling for MMA compared to a purebred Division I All-American wrestling pedigree. With that being said, he poses a lot of problems with his length, his reach, his ability to evade, and his ability to keep throwing pot shots and stick you as he's moving. I don't know. I'm excited. You know, it's a puzzle that is not going to be easily solved, which gets me more excited than I've ever been in my entire career. So Saturday night, grab your popcorn because co-main event's going to steal the show.
I don't expect you to take this opportunity to rag on him, but looking at how things have played out, do you think it was a mistake for Tony Ferguson to push so hard for that December date and not just wait until today, this week?
You know, I'm the kind of guy, it's all water under the bridge. I try not to think too much about the past, but I do think it was an interesting decision. But then again, Tony Ferguson's an interesting individual. I mean, we can all agree with that. You know, we had the opportunity to fight October 24th. He says no. I get it. Then for some reason he didn't want to be on this card. I don't get it. And then it was 3 weeks of silence, 4 weeks of silence, and I'm home spending time serving my family because I hadn't seen them in 8 months. I had been in training camp for 8 months because of the pandemic. And he calls me out on 3-4 weeks notice, essentially, that he wanted to fight in December. And then he takes a somewhat short notice fight against Charles Oliveira, which turns out to be a horrible idea. So, you know, I think mismanaged opportunity, mismanaged scenario on his part, but can't tame Tony Ferguson.
When you look at the main event, I'm sure you've been asked this 100 times, but how exactly do you see it playing out? Do you see Conor's year off as a disadvantage to him, or do you think the war that Dustin had with Dan is actually a disadvantage to him? How do you see the main event playing out? Both are interesting scenarios. You can only have so many of those wars that Dustin has been in, you know. But I think Conor, you know, just keeps getting better. I mean, yeah, he had a year off, but he also finished Cowboy Cerrone in 40 seconds. So he's only spent 40 seconds in the octagon in the last maybe 2 years, you know. But I think Conor conducts himself for the most part like a champion when it comes to buckling down and training. Not to mention the fact that you see the pictures, you see the training videos, you see the hype, you hear the interviews. He's on a different wavelength of seeing this opportunity. I think he sees, as Khabib is talking about retiring, knowing that maybe there's that one fight left with Khabib, but then also after that, it leaves the door open for him to win the title, and he wants to be champion. So I think Conor's motivated. I think a year off doesn't do anything bad for him. I think Dustin probably took the requisite time off that he needed to after the Dan Hooker fight. So we will see. I'm excited. Hopefully I go out there, finish Dan Hooker, and can shower up real quick, do my media obligations, and run out there to the front row and see who could quite possibly be my next opponent in the UFC. I don't think anyone's going to accuse you of being intimidated or anything like that. But is there something, you know, from the outside in? Is there an interesting factor that you might bump into McGregor in the lobby and just sort of see how well does he know me? What's he going to say to me? Is there any part of that kind of you're just curious to see what the dynamic he's going to take with you is? Because sometimes he can be very respectful, other times he can choose a different path. Is any part of you curious? Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of a wild card. But I will say these days, Conor seems a little bit more reserved, a little bit more respectful. I think he knows of me. He knows how I conduct myself, how I operate. I'm not going to be the guy who's going to get into a physical or a verbal altercation in the hotel lobby anyway. Love to bump into him, love to size him up, love to see what he looks like in real life. I saw him show up to the hotel with no shirt on and his son in his hand and some hot pants or whatever he was wearing, some big baggy pants. So, you know, Conor's a character, man. So he's a wild card. It's interesting. I'd love to run into him. I'll see him on Thursday at the press conference. I'll be sitting right next to him, and we'll size each other up there, and we'll see what happens. I asked this to Dan earlier as well. DC and Ariel were talking about if maybe his skills are kind of understated because of all the fame and everything that comes around him and how much he talks and all of that good stuff. Just purely on a skill and academic level as a fighter, how do you look at Conor? Do you think he gets the credit he deserves, I guess? For the record, I will say I think he is
underappreciated for how good he is, just because there is it all started with the loudmouth, trash talking, brash Irishman that nobody knew who the heck this guy was. He comes in and he starts talking way out of his league. And so we all thought, oh, he's just talk. And then he wins and wins and wins and wins and becomes double champ. And, the rest is history. But even to this day, now it's less of the trash talk and less of the voice of Conor McGregor, and it's more of his accolades. The Floyd Mayweather fight that was seen by so many people, the hundreds of millions of dollars that he has in his bank, the whiskey dynasty that he's building. He has this thing about him that it makes so much sense for him to have so much stuff going on outside the cage that there's no way that he could perform at a championship level. Yet I think he does. I always said from the very beginning that Conor's not as good as he thinks he is, but he's better than we all thought he was. And I say that because I think that's a testament to Conor's self-belief. I think he thinks he is a little bit better than he actually is, and that's just a testament to his self-belief. But he's definitely better than all of us thought he was. The media, the fans, the fighters, all of us thought he wasn't as good. And eventually he was going to be exposed. Eventually he was going to lose. And of course he did. He has his bumps. He's picked himself up and dusted himself off and come back like a champion. And here he is again, headlining another pay-per-view once again, of course. And I'm excited to be on that co-main event.
If Khabib was to walk or was to stay, is there one that excites you more out of the two, Khabib or Conor?
Man, I mean, how do you not ask for the Conor fight? I mean, it's the biggest notoriety. It's the biggest eyeballs, the most amount of eyeballs, probably the best payday. And also, I think I match up well against Conor. I think I pose a couple threats that win that fight. And I'd love to compete against him. I'd love to feel that pressure. I'd love to feel that experience. But everybody does. At this point, it's a delicacy. At this point, it's you got to earn it. It's a rite of passage. It's more of it's something that it isn't just handed out. So I got to go out there and do my job against Dan Hooker if I even need to think about fighting Conor McGregor.
For us as well, like 10 years with Bellator and obviously 3-time champion, all the great stuff that you've done. Was it always kind of the plan or the dream? Semantics on the word. Yeah. But to get to UFC, was that always the goal? Why was that the right time to make the jump?
I'll be honest. I think there was definitely times, definitely seasons where I thought it just wasn't going to happen because of maybe the direction that the promotion was going, maybe the entrance of Conor McGregor and this facade that everybody put on that they needed to trash talk to sell pay-per-views and do all this stuff that just felt forced and guys weren't really good at it. There's only one Conor and there's only a couple other guys who can actually do it well. And I thought that was the direction that the UFC was going. And it's kind of cycled back to me getting a lot more notoriety and respect for me being respectful and being eloquent with my words, as well as respectful to my fellow competitors and giving nods and giving props to my fellow competitors. I didn't think that was going to be well received, and I was wrong. It has been, and it's worked out really well so far. But I'll remember my conversation with Dana right before I signed. We were on the phone, and he was on the tarmac getting ready to fly somewhere, and we were having this conversation. And I told him, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, every single time that my contract was up, I wouldn't have been the champion that you need me to be, the superstar that you need me to be, that this organization deserves. I wasn't there where I needed to be. Now I am at the right time. This is the right moment, and this is definitely the right stage. It's a blank page right now to write that first chapter in the masterpiece that we're about to start here in the UFC. And I can't wait to go out there and compete.
I hate to ask this with respect to Ben Askren, but do you see any kind of Ben Askren syndrome kind of coming, a ranked guy straight away, the pressure that comes with that, I guess? No,
because I asked for a ranked guy right away. Truthfully, I asked for guys, ranked ahead of Dan Hooker. I wanted Gaethje. I mean, shoot, I would have asked for Khabib if I thought I could get that fight. I would ask for number one right away. But I also felt I didn't want to come in, and I didn't come in with this sense of entitlement, like I deserve this number, that number, or that number. It was the UFC's plan with me to fight a top 5 guy right away. We'd settle on Dan Hooker. And listen, I I'm well aware of Ben's fights in the UFC, his stint in the UFC. I'm well aware that he seemed to be more bark than he was bite in his UFC career, I guess, going 1-2. But Ben Askren, I can guarantee right now that Ben Askren lays his head on his pillow at night and sleeps like a baby, knowing that he came to the UFC, he put his best foot forward, he came up short a couple times. It remains to be seen what the Michael Chandler story will be. You know, I believe it's going to be a lot different than Ben's. That doesn't make me any better or any worse than him. He's a dear friend of mine, like a big brother to me. So we will see how the story is told. And there's a lot of people comparing me to Ben Askren, you know, which there's the Mizzou connection, there's the friendship that we have, but you know, we shall see.
Do you think that Khabib is going to fight again? And if he doesn't, who do you think the next lightweight champion of the UFC is going to be?
I think he does, and I think I am, and I think I beat Khabib.
Michael, you've been around the block for a long time. The new fans of the sport don't necessarily know you, and as such, some have even questioned your legitimacy in facing a number 6 ranked guy straight off the bat. I mean, you must be relishing the prospect of silencing them once and for all, and proving what many people have thought for a long time, that you were the best 155-pounder outside of the UFC.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely, I completely get it. The UFC is the longest standing organization. It is the highest level. If you're not ranked in the UFC, you're not ranked in a lot of people's eyes. If you don't fight in the UFC, you're not a professional mixed martial artist in a lot of people's eyes. I hear those things. I hear those people saying those things, and that's going to happen no matter what. People are always going to talk. When I'm world champion and I'm having phenomenal performances, I'm still going to hear negativity. But for me, it's always been about proving my supporters and my fans and my followers and my closest of inner circle, proving all of them right, not proving the doubters wrong. Proving all of them right is just as a byproduct. By default, I'll prove everybody else wrong, and then eventually they'll jump on the bandwagon. Eventually they will open their mind and open their heart to, okay, maybe Michael Chandler is the real deal. Then again, maybe they won't. Maybe I'll fall flat on my face on Saturday night and they'll all laugh at me and they were proven right. So we'll see. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
You can't have it, man.
I have to give a different one on Saturday.
Hey, I'll have to bring one now. I'll be brought some many protein, right? Oh yeah, because I knew obviously it's going to be quarantine. The world for like day I think it's next. I need to. That's just fair. Yeah, exactly. First day, he didn't come to the first month. But we only got 1 year. We only got 1 year. Right, I got more than 2 years. Sorry, you should
Ribas come through?
Yeah, we got through.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Big jet ski.
What's up?
I woke up out of the tour.
I don't know. Waking up at 9 p.m.